I'm Stuart Turner. It's great to have you here today on the Leadership Unleashed podcast. Just to give you a bit of context for those of you who haven't joined before, this is dedicated to helping all you leaders out there benefit from the experience of others. So we've got great guests who come and join us, people like Dave, who's going to be giving us the benefit of all his experience. Great to have you here, Dave. And the real plus for us is that we can ask them questions, we can listen and learn, benefit from their insight, the experiences that they've had, and also get some practical steps that we can take away and incorporate into our daily practice and start to see some quick wins, basically. And today we're going to be looking at purpose-driven leadership. And as I say, we've got David Clare joining us today. Dave is well, how would I describe Dave? He's basically driving the evolution of leadership, the author of many books. And in short, I'd probably describe Dave as the guru of the way we lead today and in the future. So he's driving the transformation of leadership, and there's lots that we can learn from Dave today. So, as I say, Dave, great to have you here. Really appreciate you giving up your time to come and join us. And this is a real hot topic and something that's very close to my heart, really. So just before we get into it, do you just want to give us a very quick intro to your background, your mission, and your mantra before we get going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Stuart, for allowing me to be here on the Leadership Unleashed podcast, first and foremost, to get to talk about one of my favorite subjects of all time, purpose-driven leadership. So yes, my name is David Clare. I'm the CEO and founder of Circle Leadership Global. So our organization its purpose is to evolve the world of work. We can see that, the way that workplaces are going, today's workforce are built for tomorrow's workplace, but tomorrow's workplace isn't here yet. Unfortunately, because today's leaders aren't ready for today's workforce, right? So it's fascinating. So there's this constant evolution happening in the workplace, and even getting into the future, sort of, what is work? What will work look like going forward? So our organization is here to evolve the world of work, because we see. Can you imagine a future, Stuart, where work positively impacts people and the planet? Like, we actually can imagine where work is a positive thing in our lives, and that it has a positive impact not only on us as humans, but the world in which we live. So Circle Leadership is set up to do that as an organization. And our mission is to be trailblazers of revolutionary leadership. We totally believe that it's time to lead different. And, I see some of the stuff that you post and the content you're sharing, which is why I was so excited to be here, because I love what you're sharing with your audiences, definitely through LinkedIn and everything, that we need to look at how we lead organizations today. We can't keep leading the way that we used to lead. Since the pandemic, with flexible work, changing of generations, AI, technology, everything is shifting around us. We cannot keep leading the way that we led in the past. And so we're here to be trailblazers of revolutionary leadership. We're here to share with people it's time to lead different. And it's about looking at humans, let me rephrase that. Resources for humans, not humans as a resource. Can you imagine organizations where we care about you as a human being first and an employee second? So Circle Leadership is set up to help organizations and leaders around the world evolve their world of work and build those workplaces that people want to belong to, that they don't just exist, but they can excel in. And that's the work that we get to do in this world. So thank you for allowing me to share that and be a part of this podcast.
Dave, that's really great. And there's two things that really come across there. One is the trailblazers bit, which is a wonderful. I love that. It gets you excited straight away. And I think the other one that there is about the energy. There's real passion there. There's real energy. So you got me engaged straight away. And I think that's something about a leader who's able to do that immediately pulls you in. So you immediately want to, listen, learn more, get engaged. It's an exciting thing to become part of, and I guess purpose, for me, there's a big element of purpose that really does that. So I think, first of all, great to have you here. And this, as I say, this topic is a big one, and it's going to sort of lead the way for us going forward. But it's interesting for me, purpose, because it's not always clear what we mean by purpose, and sometimes we get confused. And I first came across purpose quite a few years ago. I was a consultant working on a big transformation program, and we started talking about purpose-led transformation. So how
Yeah.
can we make transformation more successful? Well, purpose-led transformation. And there were some simple steps that we took. So we'd spend time working with leadership and we'd come up with a common cause, if you like, so everybody's aligned and then they can go up and set the tone from the top. We'd spend a bit more time really connecting with the customer and understanding what it was that they wanted. We spent
Yeah.
some time with the sort of the workforce and understand how they engaged and interacted with the customer. We pick out champions. We get some metrics that we could measure progress on, and there was a whole raft of things. And then the last one was about people really becoming part of it. So once that transformation had been delivered, it actually continued because people owned it and they felt part of it and they would drive improvements and they wanted to do that. That was my first experience of it. And I think the other
Yeah.
thing there was the evidence. You couldn't dispute the evidence. You immediately had a workforce that were more engaged. You had uh, delivery that was much more successful, customers who were more satisfied, and then you looked at the bottom line, and the evidence was there. Um,
Yeah.
but it's still tricky to understand exactly what we mean by purpose, and I'll give you an example. I was talking to someone the other day who I've known for a very long time. He's worked in education all his life. So he started off as a teacher, became a head teacher, and then finished his career as a director of education. And I just said to him, "What was your purpose?" And he said, "My purpose has always been to make sure that every child who comes into education has the best possible opportunity to go on and do whatever it is that they want to do." And knowing him the way that I do, I can see that in everything that he's done. And it's actually still really, a driver for him today, even though he's retired. And that was irrespective of the environment he was working in or the employer or, all of that sort of stuff. That was the big thing that was really, he had a real passion for. And it had an impact on people he worked with. As I said, it generated enthusiasm and
Yeah.
commitment. Equally, on the other side, I was talking to someone who's been a chief exec for a number of years, very successful, but stepped away, decided it's time to do something else. And I said, "What was your purpose?" And he couldn't really answer the question. And then he sort of came back with a purpose means lots of different things, and it's quite a difficult topic. So it just gives you a bit of context. So just based on that, how would you define purpose for a leader?
Yeah.
How different? I mean, I know you mentioned mission earlier, but how's
Yeah.
it different from elements like strategy, mission, values, or behavior?
Let's talk about what purpose is first. And then we'll talk about the same purpose and mission, because I find a lot of people still get purpose and mission confused.
Yeah,
Right. So purpose first. The simple way that we talk to people about purpose is simply or fundamentally the problem you're passionate about solving in the world for the people that you choose to solve it for. Okay. So when you talk about that teacher, in 9 words, he could tell you clearly, or he or she could tell you clearly why they do what they do every single day. Make sure every child has, well, there's something about something opportunities. I just
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
It was like 9 words that every child is set up to capture opportunities in 9 words or less. So if you can't tell me your purpose A in 10 words or less, you don't understand it well enough. So purpose is a problem that you're passionate about solving in the world. It's where your passion collides with their problem. And
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle is where your purpose lies. Please understand that you don't have to create a purpose. I believe that we have to just uncover or discover our purpose. It's sitting there. It's kind of like when the sculptor has that big lump of clay, Stuart, right? And they start chipping away at the concrete or carving away at the clay. Are they
yeah,
actually creating a statue, or are they removing the gunk to reveal the statue that's already in there? Right.
yeah,
So when we're working in there, it's about carving away to reveal what's already in there. And so purpose is at the crossroads of your passion, their problem. And the reason we choose passion is because if you look at the word passion, it means the etymology of the root of the word passion, it means to suffer. Okay. So, and I'm not saying you need to suffer for business, but business can be challenging at times. So your purpose
yeah,
of your business, it's your ability to endure. So what is that thing you're not willing to give up on? And the problem that you see in the world, and where those two things collide, that's where your purpose lives.
yeah,
So that's how we help people identify what is your purpose. It's why you do what you do. It's why your business exists. Now, a lot of people will tell you, Stuart, Oh, our business exists to make money and provide me with a lifestyle and do this stuff. Please understand your purpose for having a business versus your purpose of the business are two different things.
Yeah, yeah,
So you might have a purpose for having a business or as an entrepreneur, as whatever, but your purpose of the business, you started this business because you saw a problem that you thought you could solve for these people, whoever it is that you chose to serve that, right? And you thought, I'm really excited about this. I see that problem. I can start a business for this. Deep down inside, there was a reason why you started this business, even though you may not have clearly articulated at the beginning, it's in there somewhere. So that's what purpose is. It's at the crossroads of your passion and their problem. And right in the middle of that, that's where your purpose lives. And you just need to carve away and uncover or discover what that purpose actually is. But please make sure you understand your purpose for having a business is different to the purpose of the business. Now, why we want to have a purpose in our business
yeah,
is because people want something to believe in beyond themselves. Nobody jumps out of bed in the morning and goes, gee, can't wait to make Stuart rich today. Gee, I can't wait to be an expendable commodity or move to an end today, right? They go, I can't wait to solve this problem for these people here. And through that, I get to make money and whatever, right? So this is when I talk to people about purpose, that's what purpose is. This is why we have it. The difference between having a business purpose and having a business, why you have a business and what's the why of the business. The other thing I find, which we touched on, was the difference between purpose and mission. When I
yeah,
read a lot of people's mission statements, and you'll notice it, you go start reading what our mission is, da 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 da. And I'm like, well, that's not really your mission, that's your purpose. And people confuse mission and purpose. And I'm going to give you two simple statements, Stuart. You tell me
yeah,
which one sounds most correct to you, and this will help you identify the difference between purpose and mission. Okay, you ready?
yeah.
The mission of our purpose is, or the purpose of our mission is. The mission of our purpose is, or the purpose of our mission is. Which one sounds most correct?
The first one.
The mission of your purpose, or the purpose of your
sorry.
mission?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, the purpose of our mission.
Yeah, right. So our purpose of our mission, why we have this mission,
Yeah,
right? So your purpose is your why, your mission is in your why. So when I read people's mission statements, it says, we exist to, or in it, and it reads like a why statement. You know,
yeah,
Simon Sinek has popularized the concept that people buy why you do what you do. Your purpose is why you do what you do. It's why we get out of bed every day beyond a paycheck to do the work that we do, right? So
yeah,
mission is not purpose. Purpose is why we do what we do. Your mission is not why. Your purpose is why you have a mission. Our mission is to become trailblazers of revolutionary leadership. Why? Because we are here to evolve the world of work. In order to do that, we need to get out there and blaze a new trail and show people that there's a smarter, different, better way to lead organizations and lead with human first, employee second, humans not as a resource, and all these things that we talk about as
yeah,
the leadership. So our purpose is to evolve the world of work. Our mission is to become trailblazers of revolutionary leadership.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So our purpose is why we have a mission. The mission is not the why.
yeah. No, I can see that. That makes sense. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's I can see how people's mission
Yeah.
is sort of capture these words without really understanding what they are, and then it's a tick in the box because we've got a mission, but what exactly is that mission?
Yeah. But
Um,
unfortunately, the part they have that mission, but the mission is actually their purpose. So, hey, this
yeah,
is why
yeah,
we you. Now, my son was an infantry soldier in the Canadian Army. And guess what? They would then send his regiment out on a mission. They would complete that mission, and then guess what? They would rest, and then guess what they would do to them? Send them out on another mission, a
yeah,
different mission. And then they would complete that mission, they would rest, and they would send them out on another mission. So mission is the constant moving piece of our business, right? So it's the constant mission is just the next evolution of our business. But why they were going out on that mission was the same reason.
yeah,
It's a
perfect.
different mission, but same reason. Then they're going on another mission, same reason. Another mission, same
Yeah,
reason. And so this is helping people understand the difference between purpose and mission.
and mission.
Mission is the part that's constantly moving. Purpose, once you get it clear, purpose defines why you do what you do. It doesn't confine you, but it defines you. We are here to evolve the world of work. How and what and when we do that is totally can change throughout the years, but why we do it won't change.
And just on that, does a purpose change? So coming back to
Um,
your
if you get it right, No. If you understand
Okay.
clearly what it is. But there could be times and, hey, there may be reasons why it would, but it would be a very rare occasion. Once you're really clear on why you do what you do, I was talking to someone the other day about some organized. Actually, one of my buddies that helped him with this purpose 6, 7 years ago. You know what? I'm doing this thing now, and I think my purpose has changed. I said, "Oh, tell me about what you're doing now." And his purpose, I'm gonna like vaguely. It's something about um, uh, increasing capabilities creating a space for the capacity for greatness in people, right? So he wanted to help create space for capacity people. And he said, "Oh, I'm doing this thing now, and it's about helping people improve their health and well-being so they can become the best version of themselves. And I'm doing it through landscaping and creating these beautiful outdoor wellness areas." And I said, "Oh, are you creating a space outdoors where people can increase their capabilities for greatness by improving their health and well-being?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I am, aren't I?" And I said, "Exactly. It's still your same purpose. It looks different in this application.
Yeah.
You're still doing it for the same reason because that's why you do what you do in this world." Now, I'm not saying not every single one will change, but if you get it right and it's really the pure essence of who you are or your business and why your business is, yeah, I don't think it changes too much. I think how and what you do and when you do it and all that sort of stuff can and will change all the time.
But the
Yeah, but I would
purpose stays
struggle.
constant. I mean, I guess it comes back to that person working in education. So from when they started as a sort of 20-year-old as a teacher
Yeah,
and all the way through, that purpose was their, as you say, the reason why they got out of bed in the morning and went and
yeah.
did what they did.
He got to
Um,
admit every single morning, she or she got to admit because they wanted to help children be, set up to succeed or have the right chance to have the right best opportunities to succeed in life, whatever that statement you said was.
yeah, yeah,
Whether they were 3-year-olds, primary school students to high school students to
yeah,
university, college, whether they did it like lecturing, tutoring,
yeah.
same thing.
And
So,
just on purpose, how does purpose and adaptability come together?
well, like I said, so purpose creates opportunity. It doesn't limit you. I had another buddy. He was saying his business, it was a bookkeeping business fundamentally, right? And his business was his purpose was uh, creating better businesses through happier businesses through better bookkeeping or something like that, right? Happier business
Yeah,
through better bookkeeping, and they provided bookkeeping services. And and he said, "Oh yeah, like if we want to, we're going to have to add more bookkeepers into our business. We're going to have to." And I said, "Where in your purpose does it say that you have to do the bookkeeping?
yeah,
It just says happier businesses through better bookkeeping." And I'm like, "Where in there does it say that your team has to do bookkeeping? What if you were to train the bookkeepers in the businesses to do better bookkeeping and the businesses were happier because of that? Or you run an educational part of your business where you could teach bookkeepers or you could
yeah,
offer consulting services or a community or." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, it doesn't, does it?" I said, "No." So you can adapt to whatever's happening in the market. You can go to a full online model. You could do, a hybrid that you could do part in-house for the client, part outsourced, insourced, whatever. The
but
adaptability, once again, it defines you, but it does not confine you. It
but it
gives you
doesn't
creative
change.
opportunity.
Yeah, and it doesn't change that purpose.
No, and purpose is the. Please understand that, Stuart. That purpose is the seed of culture. It is also the number one decision making filter. Does this serve our purpose? Yes or no. If it doesn't, why the heck are you doing it?
Why are we doing it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in that sense, I guess that's the why it's such a powerful force.
Yes.
It and as a leader with a purpose, what
Yep.
sort of steps can I take to actually embed my purpose? So thinking about the bookkeeper or the teacher or whatever, how can I embed that in my sort of environment so that other people buy into that and it it impacts the sort of daily practice, the decisions, the behaviors. So we all get aligned and we're all going in that same direction and we're benefiting from that shared purpose. How
Yep.
does that work? What
Yeah.
sort of steps would
Beautiful.
you
And this
suggest?
this is such a great question. So anyone listening to this is a profound question because having a purpose and getting that clearly defined and getting people engaged. So understanding that purpose is there to engage people, right?
Yeah,
Um, Now, I'm a happily married man who's totally in love with his wife. Okay. Why did I propose to my wife? Because I was in love with her. I got down on one knee and I proposed to my wife, which is what we
Yeah,
call getting engaged, right? I asked her to marry me, which means that we are now engaged. People get engaged when they're in love.
yeah,
So our purpose is there to help people fall in love with why we do
yeah,
what we do,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I can see
So
that. Yeah,
how can I
very
help?
powerful.
Yeah, so how can I help? This is part the passion, right? It's an emotional part of the here's a logical problem with an emotional, enthusiasm and exuberance to want to solve that problem. And we put those two together. That's where the magic happens, right? So now, when we look at this purpose, so I need to get my team engaged in my purpose. So how do I get my team to fall in love with why we do what we do? I need to help them get a personal connection to that public sense of purpose. So if we look at our organization, I'll use it as an example, right? Oh, no, I'll use one of my good friends in Canada, Dr. Steve Rouse. He has a thing called Wellness Doctor. Their purpose is to save lives ahead of time. Now, they're a bunch of chiropractors, nurses, phlebotomists, and what they do is what they're passionate about is preventive and proactive healthcare. The problem that they could see in their world is that most people don't take action on their health until it's too late.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
where their passion for preventative and proactive hits people taking action on their health too late, the reason why they started their business was to save lives ahead of time.
yeah,
So I can sit there and go, hey, Stuart, we've got a bunch of chiropractors, nurses, phlebotomists. We're going to take some blood, crack some backs, give some natural medicines and things like that. Would you like to come join us? Or, hey, we have a team of amazing practitioners here who are looking to save lives ahead of time. Would you like to be a part of this
yeah.
organization?
And I'm on
So
board.
first and
Yeah,
foremost, yeah, right.
yeah,
So then I go, why? So here's how you get all your team to connect to purpose. So the first thing is going, if our organization is here to save lives ahead of time, Stuart, why do you think that matters? Why does that matter to you? Why do you think working in this organization matters about an organization where you get to be a part of something that's saving lives ahead of time, right? And you don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
answer this, but then give me your answer as to why you think being a part of this organization matters. I said, okay, cool. Now, what's your role in this organization, Stuart? You say, oh, well, I could be the receptionist, the welcome person, the director of first impressions when people walk into the clinic. I don't care. You can be one of the nurses, the doctors. And I go, why is your role so important? Why does your role matter now in relation to an organization that saves lives ahead of time that you just told me this is why it matters? Why then do you think that your role matters in relation to that? And then you would go, oh, well, because when people first come in, this is the first impression they get. And my job is to make sure they get to see the right practitioner. I have to do the first assessment, whatever it is, you go, and this is why my role is so important. Awesome. Okay. Now, the last question I'd like to ask you is why does that matter to you, Stuart? Why is that so important to you that you get to do this work in this organization in the world? How does that make you feel? What does that say to you, about you? Why does that matter to you? And you go, oh, well, because whatever you'll give me, whatever your reason is. And so we've built a depth of engagement beyond working for an awesome organization to having meaningful work, to having a personal connection to a public sense of purpose. We've also gone across and going, the organization matters, my role matters, and it matters to me. So we built mattering and engagement and connected that person so that they now love why we do what we do. Love, I get to go do this work every day in this organization, in this
Yeah.
world. Because one thing I share with people, Stuart, is I said, I get to get up every day and do the work I love doing with the people I love doing it with, for the people I love doing it for. And I just wish that for everybody.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm not going to have a bad day or a hard day, and sometimes it's going to be challenging and stuff like that. But damn it, I love that I get to do this stuff in the world with the people I do it with and the people we get to do it for.
Yeah.
And can you imagine getting out of bed every day, at least having that? And this is how we
Well,
create
yeah,
real
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
impacts
yeah,
on the planet by connecting people to purpose and showing them why it matters to them, helping them discover why it matters to them. I didn't tell you why it matters to you. I asked you to tell me why it matters to you.
and they all
That's
fit
how you
together.
connect people
Yeah.
to your purpose.
And I guess it's one of the things that I find difficult with some of my clients is really getting them to articulate that. The actual, um, I mean, you've explained that really clearly, and those steps and the way that it all fit together sounds so simple, but
Yep.
it actually, working with a leader, for example, and trying to get them to articulate that and then engage their team in a way that helps them to see it and then pieces
Yep.
all of those together so that it just it just becomes part of the cause is actually
Yep.
quite difficult.
Yeah, because you're asking people to tap into an emotion, to connect emotionally to their business, right? It's what I call business of love. Getting people to
Yeah.
fall in love with why they do what they do, fall in love with their business. Because if you don't fall in love with your business and your team, you can't speak that love to the market, right? And if you can't speak that
Yeah. Yeah.
love to the market, brand is how the market and consumer thinks and feels. They will not respond in kind. But when we love why we do what we do, we speak that love to the market.
Yeah.
Guess what? The brand and which is your market and consumers fall in love with why you do what you do as well. And then everyone falls in love with your business. It is a challenge, yes. But this is where, once again, if the leaders and what you're doing is right, you have to get those leaders to be connected. Because if you're not in love with why you do it, you don't think you're going to be able to help your team fall in love with why you do
No.
it.
No.
Right. So
It's not.
if
It's
you're
not.
not you connect to it, I would challenge then, is your purpose clear enough? Is it powerful enough for you to go, I'm engaged by this. I want to get down on one knee and propose to my business and go, I love you. Will
Yeah.
you marry me? And like that same level of emotional context you have to have for why you do what you do every day.
Yeah. That's authentic, isn't it? Being able to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. That's authenticity.
People know
You
when you're
can't fake that.
faking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't. You
Whatever's going
can't.
on inside you, Stuart, you'll find a way to manifest it on the outside. So if you're
Yeah.
don't quite believe it, yet you're saying the right things, people go,
The
sounds
disconnect.
good, but I
That
don't know, something doesn't
don't
feel
really
right.
buy it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes
Well,
through in the steps you take. There'll be
yeah.
times you don't follow it, and people see through that, and
Yeah.
they lose trust in it.
Yeah.
So again, I
So
mean,
you
we've touched on this a little bit, but um, it all of those things lead to a much happier, more productive environment, which is
yeah.
a togetherness. So irrespective of hierarchy, I mean, your example that you gave, um, with every role in the business having um, value to add, and it being really clear
Yeah.
why they've got value to add, it's conducive to a much more productive environment with much happier people who get a sense of fulfillment and that passion. Um, so taking that, I mean, I guess you'd say the customer will benefit.
Oh, well, let's put it this way. Um, Employees or team members who feel exceptionally valued will deliver exceptional value. Now, have you ever been served, Stuart, by somebody who just loves what they're doing, where they're doing it, and they just love their job, and it's infectious, right? Like
Yeah.
this
Oh, yeah,
person,
yeah.
this
And then
barista in a cafe or whatever it is
yeah.
they're either high on their own coffee or they've got caffeine or whatever, but they just love it. And how does that make you feel as a consumer?
Well, it's great, and actually, you stop thinking about almost the actual content of the conversation, and you're
Yeah,
just pulled in by the fact that they've got so much passion for what they're doing. They're so
yeah,
interested, and they really want to do a good job and deliver a good service, and they're interested in you, and all of that sort of stuff. And it just, it's a very positive feeling.
right. Have you ever been served by somebody who doesn't love what they're doing, where they're doing
well,
it, or who
yeah,
they're doing it with, right?
absolutely, yeah,
Right. So does that translate to the customer? Yes. I use this as a simple example. Apple is one of the most loved brands in the world. Um, Hashtag not an Apple guy myself, but hey, Apple is a loved brand in the world. Apple would not be what it is today if you walked into that Apple store and the genius or whatever they're called who served you didn't already love the products and the company and that, right? Because what Steve Jobs did brilliantly, you can look at his leadership styles for different things, but what he did do brilliantly, he was great at getting people to fall in love inside the organization. They had the big theater and everyone would come in and
yeah,
they'd put
yeah,
the
yeah,
name, and he would show them, and he would get all the people in the organization to love Apple and love our products before the consumer even got to touch them. So that when you walked into the Genius store, those people were already like, wow, this is the most amazing thing. This can be great. And right. And so Apple as a brand would not be what it is today if that hadn't happened. It would just be a company that produced really innovative, cool products. And there are millions of those.
yeah.
Right. So
Yes,
the customer experience, and the more that happens in the deeper like I say, that's the other half of the heart, where brand is how the market and consumer thinks and feels. So the more they think and feel in terms of, we just love the brand, we love why this, we love the people, we love whatever, that's that just expands the consumer experience. So people who feel exceptionally valued will deliver exceptional value. right? Because I assure you, if your customer service sucks, your leadership sucks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
And
And
yeah,
Seth Godin, he was great. When we talk about the two halves of the heart, he said that the future of marketing is leadership, right? Because what's leadership all about? It's all about purpose, values, and vision, and speaking that culture and building that amazing culture of people who have all these really cool ideas and innovation, and speaking that to the market. And then that's how you build your brand. And so it's only a natural transition from that. But for some reason, we're so more interested in our products or our pricing or our whatever, thing it might be, and trying to make money rather than build an amazing experience that people will remember.
and those things that you've mentioned come on the back of that.
Right. And it starts from the inside out, which is why you
Yeah,
can't get a branding company to build your culture. Your culture builds your brand. Right. And I see so many organizations that go, we're investing in this branding company to help us define our purpose and stuff. And they're trying to take it from the outside and shove it in rather than take
yeah,
it
yeah.
from the inside out. Because
I mean,
culture or brand is an inside out proposition, not an outside in.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Especially if you
I
want
mean,
people to be engaged.
yeah. And just thinking about that, how can I as a leader, so we've got our culture, we're all aligned. How can I um almost empower the team to go and make decisions and
Yeah. Beautiful.
take responsibility without stepping away from my responsibilities as a leader, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. What sort
Yeah.
of
No,
steps would I
absolutely.
take?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So in organization, you remember empowerment when it was a buzzword way back in the late
Yeah,
90s, early 2000s, right? Oh, we need to empower our people. So here's what happened. I had all this power as a leader, and I go to you and say, Stuart, here's my power. You can do all the things I can do. And then you go, oh, great, Dave. Thank you very much. And then
yeah.
I'm standing there going, I just gave all my power away. And I'm like, what do they need me
What do I
for?
do?
And I'm like, Stuart, I might just need to borrow some of that back if you don't mind. I'll just take some of that
Yeah,
back. And this is why empowerment failed, because we didn't understand what actually empowerment is. Empowerment is, and this is when we talk about empowering your teams to make smarter decisions, is my job is to help you understand you've always had the power to make those decisions, Stuart. I just need to give you the frameworks in which you can exercise that power in. Right. And so my job is
yeah,
to control the frameworks, not the work inside the frames. My job
yeah,
is to
yeah.
get people involved in the work, involved in decisions about the work. My job is to delegate outcomes to people, not tasks to people. And
Yeah.
to say, here's what we need to accomplish. You tell me how you can do it. But I need to give you the frameworks in which to make those decisions in. So purpose, as I said, is the seed of culture. It's your number one decision-making filter, right? Does this serve our purpose? Yes or no? That is what everyone should learn how to ask that question. If it doesn't, why are we doing it? The second decision-making filter we need to help our teams have in place then is our values. Now, our values are there to be the guardians of our purpose, right? So please understand that. And most people, when you look at most values you see in organizations today, um, this might sound like I'm swearing, but please understand this is just an acronym, okay? It's what I call SHIT values, right?
Yeah.
And that is service, honesty, integrity, trust. These, and people are like, what? Well, why are they shit values, Dave? That's not right. They're really important. I said, those are the price of entry into being a good human being and a good business. If those are the things that make your business unique, we're all screwed. What we need to look at is, what are the values of our business? What's the unique thinking of our business? How we think around here? What makes us different in the way we think about why we do what we do? Because those will become the decision-making filters that I need to teach my team how we think around here, not tell them what to think. So when we're, as I said, Simon Sinek was really cool at telling all of us that, people buy why you do what you do. Great. But I'm going to tell you right now that your values are why they buy it from you.
Okay.
Which is the organization? If you have two organizations that are pretty much exactly the same product, services, and everything, which is the one that wins in the competition? Even in an infinite game, which is the one that wins?
The one that their values are, they're really living those values, and their values
Right,
are different. Yeah.
right. It's the one that outbehaves the other. And what drives behavior? How we think determines how we act. So I need to make sure that I'm empowering my team to make smarter decisions. That means I need to make sure that they understand the unique thinking. If we're all here to evolve the world of work, we're all here to save lives ahead of time. If we're all here to help kids, everything, the kid have a great opportunity in life, whatever it is. What are our values? What makes us unique in the way we think about that? Now, also, please understand, you would be familiar with this concept. When we're helping people make decisions, Have you ever had a minor surgery? Hopefully, you haven't had a major one, but had a surgery, right? And the
Yeah.
surgeon grabs the scalpel and does an incision, right? And what is an incision? It is
Well, it's cutting into you.
cutting
To your
into.
skin. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So incision is to cut into. Decision is actually to cut out or cut off. So when I'm empowering my team to make smarter decisions, what we want to help our teams from making decisions is help them learn what to say no to.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Saying
Okay,
no, it's
teaching them,
tough, isn't it? It's difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, hey, does it reject at our values? My values do not have to align with yours for us to be able to work together. However, if my values reject at yours or yours reject at mine, we're going to have a hard time working together, Stuart.
Yeah.
So I need to empower my teams to make smarter decisions and help them learn what to say no to, because strategically and tactically, they should already know what to say yes to.
Yeah.
So does it serve our purpose? Yes or no? Does it reject at any of our values? Yes or no? Will it help us create the world that we see, our vision? And then will it help us become the business that we need to become, our mission? And then strategically, when should we do it? So we can build these, what I call the cultural framework, the purpose, values, vision, the strategic framework, our mission and our objectives, the performance framework, our key results and the measures that we want to have, and the tactical framework, how we're going to do it. And all I have to do then is give my team the tools in which to exercise their ability to make decisions in, so they know what to say no to. So everything else should be saying yes. And they go, hang on, it serves our purpose. It doesn't reject our values. It'll take us towards this. It'll help us build this. It's just a matter of, should we do it in 3 years, 1 year? Is it something we need to do in the next 90 days? And if so, who should be involved in it? And guess what? This is how organizations then, when you're helping your teams make these decisions, is how we actually keep on track, because those are the things that will give us traction. Everything else is a distraction. So this is how we take purpose through the lens of values to create a world, to become this business in 3, 1, 90 days. And now send you all these decision-making filters from the seed of culture all the way through to a culture and strategy alignment, and helping your team to go, here's the way we make decisions around here. And guess what? You don't have to make all the decisions that way, because Stuart, if I had to do the thinking for both of us, one of us is redundant.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. So just on that then. So one of the things I with my clients, often they're growing. So they might have been the founder. They might have coming back to where we started about purpose, and that was the thing that got them going. They've grown, and suddenly their role changes slightly.
Yep.
It's more of that enablement that we've just talked about, and creating that framework that everybody else is able to operate within, and take on some of those responsibilities. And how do you help people just, and I know we've just talked to you, but I was just interested, how do you help someone in that sort of situation to make that step? What's the big thing that they need to, come to terms with to feel comfortable?
Okay, so if I just
Going.
want to make sure I understand the question. So if they've moved up in a role, is that what we're talking about?
Well,
Or
no,
they,
yeah, they've grown their business, so they've started
okay,
off. They might have got a smaller team, and suddenly it's grown quickly. They've still got a purpose, but it's about their understanding their role and the things that we've just talked about. How do they
right.
make that transition?
As the
What?
CEO or the business owner, or
Yeah, 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 yeah. From a founder to a CEO, what's the big?
okay, yeah, yeah. So this is a really interesting question, because just because you started the company doesn't mean you're the best person to lead it.
No, no.
Right? And I think Gerber wrote the E Myth based on that, like the highly qualified tradesperson who does really great work in the world, and then he gets lots of business because they're so good. Then they hire a bunch of other people, and then they hire an ed, and before you know it, they're running the business. But they've taken you out of the best thing that you do best. You're now this craftsman or tradesperson, whatever, who's now running a business, but you don't know how to run a business.
Yeah,
You haven't had any training in that or whatever, right?
yeah,
So, but it's also understanding that as you do move through that, there's things that you're going to have to learn to let go of, right? So
yeah,
even now in my role, like our organization, I now have a team in the U.S. and I have a team in Australia here who look after Australasia and North America, and they're going to be doing the work that I was traditionally doing, and my role then will be coming to cultivate and build the team rather than doing all the work with the clients and building out the roadmaps and all the bits and pieces that we would do. Um, So my role has moved into more of a coaching role with our team rather than a service and delivery role and a sales role with our clients, right? Because I'm now the business is expanding and I'm not doing all the sales anymore, which is
Yeah.
great. So I'm now to take on a new role. Here's where organizations fail. It's kind of what do you remember as a kid, Stuart? Do you ever play on monkey bars?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I like to use simple, fundamental life analogies. So in monkey bars, we'd sit there, we'd grab a monkey bar, and then we would swing and we would grab the next monkey bar, right? And it gets to the stage where then we swing and grab the next monkey bar, and we're sitting here like this now.
Yeah.
Right. And now all of a sudden I'm going, okay, in
How do
order
I
for
reach?
me, right? In order for me to grab the next rung, what do I have to be willing to do?
You gotta let go.
I got to let go of one of the ones I have, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
But
yeah.
what happens, we find, is you get to a certain stage where you go, the leader does not want to let go of certain things that they used to do or that they're currently doing in order to grab the thing that they should be doing, right? So I'm not willing to let go of it to grab it, right? And when you do that, what happens is then you all of a sudden get fatigued because you're sitting there trying to hold on everything,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're getting burnt out and you're getting tired because you're not moving. There's no movement. There's no action. And but the reason why they're afraid to do that is because they don't have the frameworks in place because they're afraid of letting go or losing control. But when you have the frameworks in place, like I said, you control the frameworks, not the work inside the frames. You can then create learning moments and coaching moments for your team. And the more learning moments and coaching moments you allow, the more momentum your business has. The more momentum it has, the faster it learns, the faster it evolves. And then you don't have to control everything.
You
But
don't
what you
sit on it.
do remain in control of is why we do what we do, how we think about it, the world that we're building, the business we're building in order to bring that world into reality, and the strategy in place. Right. So this is, you got to learn to be able to let go of what it is and grab hold of what you should grab hold of, or realize that you're not the best person to do that and bring somebody in who can for you. And, right. Because the biggest mistake a lot of businesses make is because I own it, I should lead it.
I should lead it, yeah. I should
Right.
make all the decisions. I
Yeah.
guess the
And
other bit on this side.
worst thing you
Yeah,
can do in any business is be the one who makes all the decisions because you end up working longer and harder. And this is where growth is a problem. You end up being more for more. We had more people and more things. We're serving more customers or everything's bigger. I'm not, people mistake growth. They get growth and evolution confused, right? Growth is just about being more for more. How do we serve more clients? We're growing our business. We're serving more clients. We're offering more products. We have more people. We have more services. Evolution is about becoming more of what you're capable of and then being more of that and then becoming more and being more of that. Because when you're growing, you have to, there's only two ways to get greater results: either work longer and harder than you ever have, or throw more resources at it if you wish,
yeah,
or become more of what you're capable of, increase your capabilities.
yeah.
And that's your capacity for greatness expands. So as a leader, if you're growing but you're not evolving, you're not becoming the leader you're capable of. You're the same leader trying to lead more stuff.
Do more stuff, and then you hit a ceiling. There's only so much
That's right.
you can do.
Which
Yeah.
is beautiful because what happens is you're not actually evolving. You're just getting, you're growing. Like we grow up. I'm not grown as much as I can grow as a human now, but I can evolve as a human the way I think about things. And so in your business, what happens is it gets here and there's no room or capacity for other people. So you either start pushing down, or
Yeah.
people go, bugger it, there's no room for me, I'm out.
I'm off. Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
You have to go first and create the space and capacity for your team to be able to go further.
And then enable others to grow. Yeah.
Correct.
Well, I guess the other thing on the back of that is about dealing with getting comfortable with failure. So in letting go and
Yeah.
creating that framework, um, people there's a journey that people have to go on, and
Yeah.
it's that's another challenge for a leader, isn't it? It's just being prepared to recognize that as a learning experience, which is going to enable you to grow and evolve,
Yeah.
and people have to go through that, and they're at different stages to you and your role as leader, and you've already gone through that process. So there's a
Yeah.
there's a big element there, and that's another thing that I come up against with
Yeah.
some of
Right.
my clients. It's getting comfortable with that and that trust to let go and just be trustful of people making those decisions, and irrespective of the outcome, recognizing, putting the sort of trust in them to step back and learn from that and then go again. And
Right.
that's a challenging. Uh,
Yeah. It is because they don't have the frameworks in place again. Like I say that when you, If I was your team member, like you said, okay, like I'm gonna might have to let Dave have a go at some stuff here, and I'm afraid if he makes a mistake, he could screw things up and that, right?
And
Please understand when you are controlling the frameworks, not the work inside your frames, you can allow your people to freestyle in the frameworks to create those learning moments and coaching moments. Because if I'm going, hey, it served our purpose, it didn't rejected our values, Stuart. The world that we want to build, this positive work where positively impacts people on the planet, and it was really going to help us take a step towards being these trailblazers of revolutionary leadership. And if we look at the strategic plan and the roadmap, it's something that we really should be working on in this 90 days right now. So I went ahead and did this. Now, it may not be exactly what you would have wanted or saw, but you're going to go, okay, I can see his thought process now. I know
yeah,
what Dave was thinking. I know what thinking I'd like Dave to have. I now see the gap in the thinking. And my job then is just to coach the gap between the thinking he had and the thinking I need him to have. And what I call it is instead of Dave made a mistake, Dave had a missed take. Like an actor
yeah.
or a director in a movie, hey Dave, you know what we talked about this here? We talked about, simplicity, which is freedom from complexity here at Circle Leadership. Tell me, where did simplicity play into this? Oh, geez, Stu, you're right. You know what? When I looked at this, I probably could have added more value by taking that stuff out and improve that process. Like, great, do that next time. Take two. And then if I'm constantly allowing those learning moments and coaching moments and make sure my team feel that it's safe to have a go, use their initiative through the frameworks in which we've given them, then guess what? I'm going to learn faster, right? And then my team go, wow, Stuart really loves me and here he appreciates and values me and allowing me to learn and make things happen and bring my best self to work and help me become more of what I'm capable of when I'm here. And you don't have to feel totally out of control because I've done it through the lens of the framework that you've given me in order to do so.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Stuart. Have you got to be who you are today without making a mistake?
Make mistakes every day.
Right.
Part of the
So I
course.
am who I am today from the mistakes I've learned from. Now, please understand, I'm making mistakes that I haven't learned from yet. But the one I am who I am from the mistakes that I've learned from. So where do I get the arrogance of a leader as thinking I can become more if I'm capable of as a leader without having to make more mistakes along the way? How do I think that I can allow my team to become their best version of themselves to do their life's best work if I'm not allowing them to make some mistakes along the way? Do if anyone has kids listening to this, are you going to stop your kids from making mistakes so they make no mistakes whatsoever?
Yeah.
Right.
No, not
No,
going to happen. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I want my kids to not make the same stupid mistakes I made. They're going to make their own mistakes, but if I can help them make less of the dumb ones I made, they're going to go make their own mistakes and they're going to learn from those. And they're going to help them become, and that's when they learn what they like and they don't like in life. But why do we rob our employees of that? Because we're afraid if they make a mistake, it could lose a customer, screw things up, do whatever, or cost us money. But it's because we don't have the frameworks in place in which to be able to allow learning moments and coaching moments to happen.
Yeah.
And that's when you can allow those mistakes and you don't have to feel out of control.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's really interesting, the framework piece. And again, my experience is there's a lot of places that I've worked where that framework it's not been in place.
No.
And there's so many parts of it that aren't. And actually, the way that you've articulated all of these things today, they seem so simple and they make such good sense. But you get into an organization and it's usually complex and people have a different understanding. And it's coming back to the point you just made about being fearful of it, being exposed and not having clear expectation. And it just gets, it gets quite confused. And I think that's where, as you say, the value of leadership is in creating that simple view that everybody can relate to, and has they're clear what the expectations are, and they can see how they fit into it. And that's a really positive sort of environment to be part of, and it comes back to purpose. And as you say, getting up in the morning and I feel part of it. I know I'm going to fit in. I'm not fearful of anything, and it's a really powerful place to be. And so it's really, really wonderful that.
But can you imagine working in a place where you don't just exist, but you can excel?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what that's it.
Where you actually feel like you belong.
Yeah, and you
Like every
grow and
workplace,
yeah.
Everyone talk about creating belonging in organizations, right? We need to get where people feel like they belong here. Great. Well, make sure they feel valued to the fundamental things, all the stuff that we've shared with you, and then allow them to, have the space and capacity to have a go, learn coaching moments that they don't feel threatened or frightful if they've done it through the right way, that they're going to get crapped on or anything like that. But how do you know when you've developed a sense of belonging in your organization?
Um, well, I guess how do I know that? Well, when people um, they take ownership of it and
Yeah.
they take it forward. They own their bit and they enjoy the environment. They're happy in the environment. They're productive in the environment. They champion it to people that they talk to. I mean, thinking about the customer engagement piece, and it's just a very positive environment to be part of.
Right. So here's a simple test. You can tell if you've created belonging in your organization. You ready? Do they want to be there for a long time? Do they want to be long in your organization?
Well, yeah, they want to be
Right.
part of it.
Right. But in order to create that sense of belonging, that I want to be here for a long time, we need to make sure that our team can see the future of our organization so they can see themselves having a future in our organization, which is why we need to go, here's what we do every day. Here's how we think about it. Here's the road we're creating, and here's the business we're building. And they go, and here's what we're doing in the next 3 years, 1 year, and here's what we're working on 90 days. And then here's why our organization matters, why your role matters, why it matters to you. And they go, oh, okay, great. I can see where this organization's going. I see where my role, my work is important. I know why I'm important, why it matters to me. I get up to everything. I have a framework in which I can exercise decisions in. I'm not going to get crapped on. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn things. Like,
Yeah,
put it all
and I'm
together in
on
a
board.
package.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
on the bus. I'm staying I'm staying part of the team.
Yeah, and I want to belong here. I want to
Yeah, yeah,
found my place that I can be here for a long time.
yeah. No, that's. I'm just before we finish, Dave. Is there any last message that you'd like to put out there for people just to take away? I mean, we've covered a lot today,
Yeah.
and what's your message to all of us out there? To if there's one thing that we can take from this conversation, what would you say it is?
I'm gonna. I've been referred to many times as a gentle contrarian, but I like to think of myself right now as a bullish or blunt contrarian, because I think I've said it through this podcast already, but I'm going to say it one more time for everybody. It's time to lead different. We cannot keep leading our businesses the way we've always led them in the past, right? We need a new model for leadership, a new way of thinking about leadership, what leadership's all about. You lead people and you manage resources, and people are not a resource. We need to stop treating people as resources and tap into their creativity, the curiosity, the imagination, right? The intuition and the empathy of the human being, and give them a place where they can exercise that every day. Because organizations do not run out of money, they run out of ideas and innovation. It's not a funding game, it's a finding game. Ideas and innovation come from people, not budgets. So if you want your organization to flourish into the future of work and everything like that, you need to lead differently. You need to open up the space and capacity for the team to do all this sort of stuff so they can tap into the ideas and innovation that you're already paying for, right? To unleash that in your organization in a framework where you can then help to massage that and actually move your organization forward and evolve. Which is why it all starts we have to lead different, because the way we're leading organizations, and you know this yourself, Stuart, we spend all this money on leadership development, yet disengagement rates are what? Still high, still the same. We're
Yeah,
paying more money to develop more leaders, yet disengagement rates are not improving, right?
there's challenges. Yeah,
Right. So why would we keep spending all this money to develop leaders,
they
yet
do
we're still
more the
unhappy
same
in
as
work?
work here. Yeah,
So we
absolutely.
have
Yeah.
to lead difference. Like I've been banging on about this for years, but that would be my message. If nothing else, what would leading different look like in your organization today?
A very powerful message that too. Something for everybody to think about. Take it back to their environment and really give some thought to what
What
could I
would
do
leading different
differently.
look like?
Like, yeah,
What if we actually looked at our people as human beings first, employees second, Stuart? What would be the human first response in this situation? Well, right.
Sorry, say that again.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
mean, absolutely. Yeah.
my thought process in anything that's happening in our business is what would the human first response be here? Like it's easy to go, oh, the numbers aren't where they need to be, and this isn't happening, and we upset this customer or whatever, and right.
Yeah.
But I would go, well, what would be the human first response in this situation be? How would I look at this person as a human being? And here's a human opportunity to bring humanity into our workplace and go, hey, tell me about what happened there. Talk to me about
Yeah.
that. Help
Yeah.
me understand.
Yeah.
Right. And if we just started caring about our people more, and I know people say we care about our people, they're our greatest asset. They're all these wonderful things. And show me your balance sheet where you have your people on it. My people aren't on my balance sheet. Well, isn't that where you put assets? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so let's stop talking about people as all these, and let's bring real humanity back. And that means we have to be
Yeah.
willing to understand leadership's all about people. So I've got to get on my soapbox, Stuart. Now I'm just
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
you best cut me off right now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna wrap up there, Dave. But thanks. It's been great to have you here. I really appreciate
Oh,
all the time.
thank
It's
you
been a
so
really
much.
interesting session, and there's a lot there for us to take away. So really great to have you on board. And just a quick takeaway for anyone: if there's anyone there who wants to connect with Dave, you can check out the links in the description below. I'm sure you can reach out, and there's lots more to tap into there. Equally, if there's anything that you'd like to discuss with me, give me a shout. We can talk it through, and we can look at whether coaching is for you. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up there. But thanks again, and there'll be another one coming out soon.
Thanks again, Stuart, for allowing me to be a part of this thing, man. I really valued, appreciated your allowing me to be a part of this podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Leadership and Lead podcast. I hope you found value in today's conversation and are inspired to take action on your own journey. To dive deeper, I invite you to complete the Leadership Self-Assessment. This is a powerful tool designed to help you gain insight into your strengths, identify areas for growth, and take the next step in your personal and professional development. You can access the assessment directly by scanning the QR code on the screen or visiting stellacoach.co.uk/self-assessment. And don't forget to follow our guests. You'll find their contact information below to learn more about their work and insights. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Leadership and Lead podcast for more inspiring conversation. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode as we continue to unleash your potential.